Welcome to English Stories for Listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you genuinely want to be fluent in English.
My name is Olivia. I want to share a secret with you. It's a special secret, and it has helped me a lot. This secret has made my English better every day. I want to tell you about it because it might help you too. When I was a child, I didn't know any English. I lived in a small village where everyone spoke my native language. But I loved listening to stories. My grandmother used to tell me stories every night. I would close my eyes and listen carefully. Her stories were magical, full of life, and they made me dream. I wanted to tell stories like her one day. One day I found a small book. It was in English. I didn't understand the words, but the pictures were beautiful. I asked my grandmother about it, but she didn't know English either. That's when I decided I wanted to learn English so I could read that book and understand the stories inside. My first tip for learning English is this: find something you love. It could be a book, a movie, or even a song. When you love something, learning becomes easier. I loved that little book, so I started to learn English. I learned one word at a time. First, I learned simple words like cat, dog, and tree. Then, I learned more words. Every new word was like a key, opening a door to a new story. I remember my first English lesson. The teacher said, "Learning a new language is like planting a tree. You need to water it every day." I didn't understand what she meant at first. But then I realized she was right. Just like a tree needs water, your mind needs practice. Practice every day, even if it's just a little. I used to practice by talking to myself in English. I would say, "Good morning, Emily. How are you today?" It felt funny at first, but it helped me a lot. One day I learned a new word, hope. It's a small word, but it's very powerful. Hope kept me going when learning was hard. I would say to myself, "Emily, keep going. You can do it," and I did. I learned more words, and soon I could understand simple sentences. Here's another tip: don't be afraid to make mistakes. I made many mistakes when I was learning. I said the wrong words, and sometimes people laughed. But I didn't let that stop me. Every mistake was a lesson. I learned from them, and I got better. Remember, mistakes are just stepping stones to success. There was a time when I felt like giving up. I was tired, and learning seemed too hard. But then I remembered something my grandmother used to say: "The night is darkest before the dawn." This means that when things seem the hardest, that's when you are closest to success. So I kept going. And slowly, my English got better. Surround yourself with English is another tip I want to share. I started listening to English songs, watching English movies, and reading English books. Even if I didn't understand everything, I kept going. The more I surrounded myself with English, the more familiar it became. It's like being in a new place. At first, everything feels strange, but the more time you spend there, the more it feels like home. One day, I was able to read that little book. I understood the story, and it was beautiful. I felt proud of myself. It was a small victory, but it meant a lot to me. This brings me to another tip: celebrate your progress. No matter how small, every step forward is important. Pat yourself on the back and say, "Well done." Learning English opened many doors for me. I met new people, made new friends, and learned about different cultures. It made my world bigger and more exciting. I realized that learning is not just about knowing more words. It's about opening your heart and mind to new experiences. It's about connecting with others and sharing stories. I also learned the importance of patience. Learning a language takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Be patient with yourself. Don't rush the process. Enjoy the journey. Every day, you are getting better, even if it doesn't feel like it. Trust the process and keep going. One of my favorite quotes is, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Learning English is like that. You take one step at a time. Sometimes the road is smooth and sometimes it's rocky. But every step takes you closer to your goal. I remember a time when I was afraid to speak in English. I thought people would laugh at me. But then I realized that everyone makes mistakes. Don't be afraid to speak. Speak with confidence. The more you speak, the better you get. It's like riding a bike. At first you might fall, but with practice you will ride smoothly. I also found that learning with others is helpful. I joined an English club where we spoke in English. We helped each other, and it made learning fun. If you can, find a friend to practice with. You can learn together and motivate each other. Another tip I want to share is to set small goals. When I started, I set a goal to learn 5 new words every week. It was a small goal, but it kept me motivated. Over time, those small goals added up, and I learned a lot. Set a goal that is easy to achieve and slowly increase it. It will give you a sense of accomplishment and keep you going. There were days when I didn't feel like learning. On those days, I reminded myself why I started. I wanted to read that little book. I wanted to understand the stories inside. Find your reason for learning and hold on to it. It will keep you motivated when things get tough. One of the most important things I learned is to enjoy the process. Learning English doesn't have to be boring. Find ways to make it fun. Play games, sing songs, or watch your favorite movies in English. When you enjoy what you do, learning becomes easier. I also discovered the power of writing. Write every day, even if it's just a few lines. It helps you remember what you've learned. I used to keep a diary where I wrote about my day in English. It was simple, but it helped me a lot. Writing helps you think in English, and over time, it becomes natural. One day, I met a traveler who spoke many languages. I asked him how he learned so many languages. He said, "The secret is to keep learning, even when you think you've learned enough. That stuck with me. Never stop learning. Even when you feel confident, keep pushing yourself. There is always something new to learn." Another tip is to use what you've learned. Don't just memorize words, use them in your daily life. If you learn the word apple, try to use it in a sentence. Say, "I ate an apple today." The more you use the words, the more they become a part of you. I also learned that listening is key. Listen to English as much as you can. Listen to songs, watch movies, or even listen to the news. The more you listen, the more familiar the language becomes. It helps you with pronunciation and understanding the flow of the language. One of my favorite memories is when I watched my first English movie without subtitles. I didn't understand everything, but I understood enough to enjoy the movie. It was a big moment for me. Small victories like these keep you motivated. Celebrate them. I want to share another quote that helped me. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Learning English is a journey with ups and downs. There will be times when you feel like you're not making progress. But don't give up. Keep going, and you will see the results. I also realized the importance of staying positive. Learning a new language can be challenging, but a positive mindset makes a big difference. When you believe in yourself, you can achieve more than you think. Sometimes I would dream in English. It was strange at first, but it showed me that English was becoming a part of me. When you immerse yourself in a language, it becomes natural. Keep learning, keep practicing, and soon you'll find that English feels like second nature. Another tip is to learn at your own pace. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns differently. Some people learn quickly, while others take their time. What matters is that you're learning. Take it one step at a time and enjoy the journey. I also found that teaching others helps you learn. If you have a friend who is also learning English, try teaching them something new. When you teach, you reinforce what you've learned. It's a great way to review and strengthen your knowledge. One day, I met someone who didn't speak any English. They were trying to order food at a restaurant, and they were struggling. I helped them, and it felt good to use my English to help someone else. Helping others with their English can be a great way to practice and build confidence. Another thing that helped me was setting a routine. I set aside a little time every day for English. It became a habit, like brushing my teeth. Having a routine keeps you consistent, and consistency is key to learning. I also learned the value of reviewing what you've learned. Every week, I would go back and review the words and phrases I learned. It helped me remember them better. Repetition is important. The more you see a word, the easier it is to remember. One of the best things about learning English is that it connects you with the world. I made friends from different countries and we communicated in English. It made me realize that learning a language is not just about words. It's about connecting with people. It's about understanding different cultures and perspectives. Another tip I want to share is to stay curious. Ask questions, explore new topics, and never stop learning. Curiosity keeps you engaged and makes learning fun. If you come across a word you don't know, look it up. If you hear a phrase you don't understand, ask someone about it. The more curious you are, the more you learn. I also discovered that learning is not just about studying. It's about experiencing the language in different ways. Travel if you can, meet new people, and use your English in real-life situations. Experience is a great teacher. One day I visited a country where English was the main language. At first I was nervous, but then I realized that I could communicate with people. It was a wonderful feeling. Using your English in real situations helps you gain confidence. I want to share another memory with you. When I was learning English, I had a notebook where I wrote down all the new words I learned. I called it my treasure book. Every word was a treasure to me because it brought me closer to my goal. Keep a notebook and write down the new words you learn. It's a simple but effective way to track your progress. Another tip is to read as much as you can. Reading helps you learn new words, understand sentence structure, and improve your comprehension. Start with simple books and gradually move to more complex ones. Reading is like opening a window to a new world. The more you read, the more you learn. I also learned that watching English shows with subtitles is helpful. It helps you understand the words while also seeing how they are used in context. Over time, you can try watching without subtitles to challenge yourself. Another thing I found helpful was keeping a journal in English. Write about your day, your thoughts, or anything that interests you. It doesn't have to be perfect. The more you write, the more you improve. Writing helps you express yourself and think in English. I also want to share the importance of being kind to yourself. Learning a new language is not easy, and it's okay to feel frustrated sometimes. Be patient and gentle with yourself. Celebrate your progress and don't be too hard on yourself when things don't go as planned. One of the most important lessons I learned is to never stop learning. Even when you reach your goal, keep going. Learning is a lifelong journey. There is always something new to discover. Keep your mind open and stay curious. I hope my story inspires you to keep learning. Remember, everyone's journey is different. What works for one person may not work for another. Find what works for you and stick with it. Believe in yourself and trust the process. Learning English is a wonderful journey. It's a journey that opens doors to new opportunities, new friendships, and new experiences. It's a journey that enriches your life in so many ways. Enjoy every moment of it. This is my learning secret, and I'm happy to share it with you. I hope it helps you on your journey to learning English. Keep going, and remember, the best is yet to come. As I continue my journey, I find new ways to improve every day. Learning English has become a part of my life. It's not just something I do, it's something I enjoy. I wake up each morning excited to learn something new, and that excitement keeps me going. One day, I decided to challenge myself. I wanted to write a story in English. It was a small story, just a few pages, but it was my story. I used the words I had learned and put them together to create something new. Writing that story made me realize that learning English is not just about understanding others. It's also about expressing yourself. It's about sharing your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences with the world. Expression is a powerful tool. When you can express yourself in a new language, it gives you confidence. It shows you that you are capable of more than you think. So don't be afraid to write your own stories, even if they are simple. Write about your day, your dreams, or anything that interests you. The more you write, the more confident you will become. Another tip I want to share is to learn from your surroundings. English is everywhere. You can find it in signs, in advertisements, and even in conversations around you. Pay attention to the words you see and hear. Try to understand them and use them in your own sentences. Learning from your environment helps you see how English is used in real life. I also found that learning idioms and expressions is helpful. Idioms are phrases that have a different meaning from the words they are made of. For example, it's raining cats and dogs means it's raining very heavily. Learning idioms helps you understand English better because they are often used in conversations. They add color to the language and make it more interesting. One of my favorite idioms is "every cloud has a silver lining." It means that even in difficult times, there is something good. This idiom gave me hope when I faced challenges in learning English. It reminded me that even when things were tough, there was something positive to look forward to. Another thing that helped me was learning English songs. Music is a great way to learn a language because it makes learning fun. I would listen to my favorite songs and try to understand the lyrics. I would sing along, and over time, I found that I was learning new words and phrases without even realizing it. Music makes learning enjoyable, and when you enjoy what you do, you learn faster. One day, I joined a group of people who were also learning English. We would meet once a week and practice speaking together. It was a great way to improve because we could help each other. Learning with others keeps you motivated and makes the process more enjoyable. If you have the chance, find a group or a partner to practice with. It can make a big difference. Another tip I want to share is to be consistent. Learning a language is not something you can do in a day. It takes time and effort. But if you are consistent and practice every day, even for a few minutes, you will see progress. Consistency is key. It's better to practice for a short time every day than to study for hours once a week. I also realized the importance of listening to different accents. English is spoken all over the world, and there are many different accents. At first, it can be difficult to understand different accents, but the more you listen, the easier it becomes. Expose yourself to different accents by listening to speakers from different countries. It will help you become a better listener and understand English in different contexts. One of my favorite memories is when I had my first conversation with a native English speaker. I was nervous at first, but then I realized that I could understand and respond. It was a small conversation, but it meant a lot to me. Small victories like these show you how far you've come. Celebrate them and let them inspire you to keep going. Another tip I want to share is to use English in your daily life. Even if you are not in an English-speaking country, try to incorporate English into your routine. Label things in your house with their English names, think in English, or even try to dream in English. The more you use the language, the more natural it becomes. I also learned the value of patience. There were times when I felt like I wasn't making progress, but I reminded myself that learning is a process. Be patient with yourself. Progress may be slow, but as long as you keep going, you are moving forward. Another thing that helped me was keeping a positive mindset. There were days when I felt discouraged, but I reminded myself of why I started. Stay positive and believe in yourself. Learning a language is challenging, but with determination and a positive attitude, you can achieve your goals. I also found that setting small, achievable goals kept me motivated. Instead of focusing on becoming fluent, I set smaller goals like learning 10 new words a week or finishing a book in English. Achieving these small goals gave me a sense of accomplishment and kept me motivated to continue learning. One day, I decided to write a letter to my future self. I wrote it in English and I filled it with all the things I hoped to achieve. I sealed the letter and put it away. A year later, I opened it and read it. I was amazed at how much I had improved. Writing to your future self is a great way to track your progress. It shows you how far you've come and motivates you to keep going. Another tip I want to share is to learn from your mistakes. When I made mistakes, I didn't see them as failures. Instead, I saw them as opportunities to learn. Mistakes are part of the learning process. They help you see where you need to improve. So, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from them, and you will get better. I also found that reading aloud helps improve pronunciation. When you read aloud, you can hear how the words sound, and it helps you practice speaking. Try reading your favorite books or articles out loud. It's a simple but effective way to improve your speaking skills. Another thing I learned is to be curious. When you are curious, you want to learn more. Ask questions, explore new topics, and never stop being curious. Curiosity keeps you engaged and makes learning more enjoyable. One day, I decided to challenge myself by reading a book that was a bit more difficult than what I was used to. It was hard at first, but I didn't give up. I took it one page at a time, and slowly I started to understand more. Challenging yourself helps you grow. Don't be afraid to push yourself out of your comfort zone. It's in those moments that you learn the most. Another tip I want to share is to use technology to your advantage. There are many apps and online resources that can help you learn English. Use them to practice, learn new words, and improve your skills. Technology makes learning more accessible and fun. I also discovered the importance of taking breaks. Learning a new language can be overwhelming at times, so it's important to take breaks and relax. Give yourself time to rest and recharge. When you come back to learning, you will feel refreshed and ready to continue. Another thing that helped me was staying organized. I kept all my notes, vocabulary lists, and practice materials in one place. Being organized helped me stay on track and made it easier to review what I had learned. Organization is key to effective learning. I also found that learning with a purpose is motivating. When you have a clear purpose, it gives you direction and keeps you focused. Whether it's to travel, to communicate with others, or to advance in your career, find your purpose and let it guide you. Another tip I want to share is to practice speaking as much as possible. Speaking is one of the best ways to improve your English. Try to find opportunities to speak, whether it's with friends, in a class, or even by talking to yourself. The more you speak, the more confident you will become. I also learned that it's okay to ask for help. If you don't understand something, don't be afraid to ask. There are many people who are willing to help, whether it's a teacher, a friend, or even online communities. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. One of the most important lessons I learned is to enjoy the journey. Learning a new language is a journey, and it's important to enjoy every step of the way. Don't rush the process. Take your time and appreciate the progress you are making. Another thing that helped me was keeping a language diary. I would write down new words I learned, phrases I liked, and things I found interesting. Looking back at my diary, I could see how much I had improved. A language diary is a great way to track your progress and stay motivated. I also found that using English in real-life situations is very helpful. Whether it's ordering food, asking for directions, or having a conversation, using English in real life helps you apply what you've learned and gain confidence. Another tip I want to share is to find a role model. Find someone who speaks English well and learn from them. It could be a teacher, a friend, or even a celebrity. Having a role model gives you something to aspire to and keeps you motivated. One day, I realized that I had reached a level of fluency that I never thought possible. It was a proud moment for me. But I knew that the journey didn't end there. Learning is a lifelong journey. There is always more to learn, and that's what makes it exciting. As I continue my journey, I keep reminding myself of the importance of staying curious, staying positive, and staying motivated. These are the keys to success in learning a language. I hope that my story and tips inspire you to keep going on your own journey. Remember, learning a new language is not easy, but it's worth it. It opens doors to new opportunities and experiences that you never imagined. So keep going and don't give up. The best is yet to come.